Guys, it's Daryl here. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It's 9 a.m. on the dot here in Connecticut on the East Coast. You have to excuse me. I just got back from my bike ride. Very busy day. I did a little math while I was on my bike ride. I have some issues. $2 trillion in stimulus. I got to emphasize what a massive number that is. Yesterday or the day before, I was going over a part of that. P.P.P, the Payment Protection Program. It was $350 billion. Let's go with that number. Sometimes I've heard it 500. We'll say $350 billion. It was gone in 13 days. All gone. I did a little math. Now, as I told you guys in the other video, the reason it was withheld by Pelosi and Schumer is because of the wording that the Republicans put in there, specifically about how this package was intended, or more or less written, for franchise owners with multiple businesses, a franchise owner with 500 employees or less. Now, that's a big company. We're not talking about mom and pop stores here. All right, and that's the reason it was held up. Now, the Republicans are going to tell you because Nancy wanted the money for abortion clinics. That's what Fox News is going around and saying. But that's not what I'm making this about. I just did a little simple math, and I want to share it with you guys. $350 billion, okay? Okay, say you have a company. And you need this to make your payroll because you need to stay in business. You need to keep your employees. You're not gonna lay them off, because if they get laid off, God knows today they're gonna start getting $600 checks plus the full maximum unemployment check. They're gonna get both every week for 6 months plus another $1,200 check. They'll be making way more than me. They'll be making more than me and my next door neighbor put together. That's not what this video is about. You're a business owner. Okay, how many employees would I have? Maybe, let's say I have 100 employees. That's quite a few. For a small business, 100 employees? Okay. Let's say I pay each of those employees $1,000 a week. That's good money, right? Pretty good money? 100 employees, $1,000 a week. That's $100,000 every week. Let's say I pay them that for 30 weeks. Okay, that's more than half a year. That's about 7 months, right? About seven months, okay? 100 employees, $1,000 a week for each employee for 7 months. That's $3 million. All right? Now, wait a second. $100,000 a week. Yeah, I believe that's $3 million. That's $3 million. $3 million. For 100 employees, $1,000 a week, $3 million. So let's say that's average, right? This money for average company of maybe about 100 employees. These are good numbers. 100 employees, $1,000 each employee for 7 months. $3 million should cover your payroll without a problem, right? Okay, take the $350 billion package. That package was $350 billion. How many times does 3 million go into 350 billion? Let me tell you, 175,000 times. 175,000 businesses. 175,000 businesses, a little under 250,000 businesses with 1,000 employees, or no, 100 employees each making $1,000 a week for 7 months. And that money disappeared in 13 days. How did 175,000 companies apply, qualify, and receive $3 million each in 13 days? 175,000 companies could be paid by this PPP. 175,000 companies in 13 days. And if you take for instance that the government probably only works on the weekdays, right? 13 days. So that was probably just 10 days, 10 working days. So in 10 working days, the government threw out enough money to pay 175,000 different companies $3 million each in 2 weeks. How? You tell me how that's possible without a whole lot of money going missing. And not to mention the video I made where Trump contractors, Trump lobbyists, past Trump workers, companies that were hired by Trump to do campaign work, all had their hands out and got $5 million, $3 million, $2 million. They were the first ones in line to get paid. And just on the news today, it's starting to come out. Because there's a whole lot of little companies around here, around town, in different states that are asking where the hell their money is because they don't have it. Well, you want to know where it is? It's in Trump's cronies' pockets. How is that possible? 175,000 different companies could have received $3 million each. That should have been enough to pay for, in each state, there's 50 states, 175,000 different businesses. Don't you think that could have covered a whole lot more ground than it did? Don't you think so? 50 states. If each state got 1,000, covered 1,000 different companies, that's 5,000. 175,000. I'm telling you, man. So I think this is going to be the story for years and decades to come. One of the biggest ripoffs of American taxpayers ever. Ever. Mark my words. And it's just, the fuse is just getting lit today. All right, you guys have a good Wednesday. Think about it.